Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's C-O-M-B-E-S-T, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?
Hey, it's me, Egbert, E-G-G-B-U-R-T. Check out my website at egbert.com. Now it's back to those two dudes who told me they would bring in big ratings. They better are their history. Here are Brad and John.
Take your stinking paws off me, you dirty ape.
Yeah, you dirty ape. Take your stinking paws off me. Okay, should I call him right now, John?
Yeah, we told him via text 740. So
okay, here we go. We're going to call him. This is Eapen Thampy. And one ringy-dingy. We don't have screeners.
Hey.
Ape and Brad from the Brad and John Show. How you doing?
Yep.
What's going on?
Good. Not too much.
First off, you're on the air live. Second off, unfortunately, once again, due to technical malfeasance, which is 99.999% my fault, John can hear you, but you can't respond to him, and he can't respond to you because it's pretty much going to be me. So everyone, but John can say something in my headset, and I can relay that to you. Is that okay then?
Yeah, sure.
Now, John wanted me to give you a call because of some of the controversies that have been swirling the last week or so. You know what we're talking about?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, give us the Eapen the Eapen 411 on this.
So in 2018, Missouri passed a law that said that a food item could not be labeled adulterated just for having hemp or a hemp ingredient in it. And this is because, in 2016, Attorney General Chris Koster had gone after gummies that had CBD in them. So we had this law in the books for 8 years now. But this year, Governor Parson went after hemp-derived THC products. And what he did was he told the Department of Health to deem any hemp-derived THC food product adulterated and sent his inspectors into dozens of retail establishments to seize hemp-derived THC gummies and destroy them. So that's kind of the controversy is obviously if you're in the hemp industry, if you're a gas station, if you're a convenience store, if you're a head shop, and you sell a hemp-derived THC gummy product or a beverage product, which are very popular these days, the governor was sending his health department in to seize and destroy those products. So we took the governor to court in August. We filed a request for an injunction. Then on September 11, the governor's inspectors walk into a VFW post in Washington, Missouri, and try to shake down these VFW folk for hemp-derived beverages. And they did not take too kindly to that. It was literally this VFW post had just done the ceremony of the flag ceremony honoring the folks who died during 9/11, and then 30 minutes later, the governor's health inspector walks in saying, we hear that we have a report, we have an anonymous tip that there's hemp-derived THC beverages here that are dangerous to children and are being marketed to children. And it was like, guys, could you have come on September 10 or 12 for literally any other day to do this? Not to mention, VFW is an age-gated establishment, and a lot of these veterans use, hemp-derived THC products, as pain relief. So, that story went national. Actually, there was news stories all over the nation, and then a few days later, I think late last week, we finally got a court date. The governor's attorneys walked in with a letter saying, okay, well, we agree our enforcement action was illegal and we're going to stop it.
Well, now, I'm gonna be real.
Sure.
I'm gonna be the guy who's going like, okay, I don't get it. I don't understand this whole thing, because of the fact that to me there's this fine line between what's going on at the legal cannabis places and the THC from hemp, and you've explained it to me, Delta 8 and Delta 9. Is the real deal on this about the fact that they're protecting the turf and the tax revenue that the state gets? Is that what the underlying thing is? That the fact they're not getting like their 3 or their 6% or the 6% state and the 3% muni and the 3% county tax on the stuff that's being sold at the convenience store? Is that really where the problem is?
No, not really. And, we've said to lawmakers, hey, if you want to put a tax on hemp-derived THC products, we're fine with it. We don't have a problem with it. If there's a reason or a good and budgetary need. We'll support reasonable taxes on these products. But what's happening is that the lobbyists for the marijuana industry, who have a lot of influence with Governor Parson, we're working to protect marijuana industry interests from competition. That's what this is. Marijuana is a regulated monopoly in Missouri, and hemp is more of a free market commodity.
Interesting. Now, and the thing you talked about, when I heard the story, first off, I know exactly which VFW you're talking about at Washmo. And the second thing is, you do have to wonder why they picked September 11th. It's to the point where you sort of scratch your head and go like, I don't know, that seems to be the wrong day to go be screwing with the veterans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just bizarre. Who in the administration was like, we're going to go in and shake down a VFW for a hemp-derived 5 milligram THC beverage on September 11th? It is like, I don't even know how that happens.
So when they do these raids, they literally go through the stock of the store, or in this case, the stock of the VFW, and go, oh, no, can't have this, and they take it away and it disappears? Is that what they do?
Well, under statute, they're supposed to embargo it, which means you put a sticker on it that says it can't be sold. And then the law says you have to go to a circuit court judge to get a order for final disposition. In this case, the state has been, coercing retailers to destroy their product without any due process. And yesterday, I talked to a guy in Kansas City who state came in. He didn't know any better. He thought, the law had changed or something, which it hadn't. And he let the state destroy $50,000 worth of his inventory based on a lie about what the law actually said.
And he gets no compensation for that, correct?
Yeah, he could sue the state, but do you want to spend $30,000 to $50,000 suing the state, after you already lost all this inventory?
Right. Well, once again, I don't quite get it. It doesn't make sense to me, but you know what? I'm not the smartest guy. I'm like one of the dullest tools in the shed. So this whole thing, I don't really get it. And I guess the whole thing that bothers me about this whole thing is that it sounds like we're just splitting hairs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. This is what this literally comes down to is the marijuana industry is trying to protect itself from competition, and their lobbyist, Steve Tilley, has managed to acquire a lot of influence with Governor Parson. Everyone in Missouri politics knows what this is, right? They couldn't get the Missouri legislature to ban hemp-derived THC from the market because Missouri lawmakers generally support free market opportunity and reasonable regulations. So Steve Tilley goes to Governor Parsons and got him to initiate this Hail Mary illegal executive order on his way out the door. That's what happened.
Interesting. Eapen, thank you very much. I appreciate your concise information on that because of the fact that when, like when you said, I saw this story, I thought to myself, they raided the VFW. Okay.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, that one is, you go like, okay. I don't think.
Hey, Brad?
Yes.
Hey, Brad, are you there?
I mean, those guys are my friends. I know personally those guys at that VFW. A couple of them work for one hemp company. There's another veteran farmer and his wife, John and Kara Grady, who've been friends of mine for 10 years, and they have this little like beverage company that they make Delta 9 beverages from. Like, it is a small operation.
Right. John was asking a question. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, Brad, Eapen would know the answer to the question of whether the DEI role that was mentioned in Amendment 2 originally, Amendment 3 back in 2022,
Eapen,
if that role was ever filled.
John
Eapen would probably know the answer to that.
John was telling me, if you remember back with the legislation that are essentially the constitutional amendment that enabled the marijuana, there was a position in there for DEI, which was sort of weird. There was a thing that, okay, the question that John and I have talked about all the time is has that position been filled? And if so, who is that person?
I don't know. I forget the name of the woman. Maybe Abigail something. But yes, the Missouri State Constitution has a constitutional chief equity officer. And this chief equity officer goes around doing presentations on diversity, equity, and inclusion in the marijuana industry, which, I mean, first off, there's like the DEI part of this, which is, in my mind, basically Marxism, right? And then on the other hand, this is a scam because the Missouri marijuana industry is a regulated monopoly that is excluded from, if only on a functional basis. There's like 2 marijuana dispensaries that are black owned in St. Louis out of like 220. So like less than, about 1% of Missouri marijuana dispensary licensors are independently black owned. And then they came out, the Amendment 3 2 years ago came out with this micro license concept, which, I mean, the idea of a micro license as a business that can only, do so much business is completely antithetical to the concept of a free market. But the marijuana industry, sold it to the voters as, we're going to do social equity and we're going to create this chief equity officer to make sure there's diversity, equity, inclusion in the market. That's what, yes, we have a constitutional state office, a DEI state office.
So if I were wanting to find out who that person was and where their office is, how would I do that? Is there a way?
You would have to talk to the office of the Division of Cannabis Regulation in the Department of Health and Senior Services.
And they would be able to tell me who that person is and where their office is.
Right.
Okay. Eapen, thank you very much.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to talk to you and John. Hopefully you get the technical issues sorted out for next time.
Oh, they won't. They won't. We need to make a lot more money before that happens, but that's another story. Okay. Talk to you later, man.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye. Even he doesn't know the answer to that one, right?
Yeah.
Which is sort of interesting. Okay. Last couple minutes of the show. I'm going to tell you something I did last night. I have not gone to see a movie in a long time. Okay. And it was sort of weird because I heard them, matter of fact, I heard another talk show talking about that all the participants of the show, and I'll be honest with it, was the 97 one, it was the Annie Fry show. They went to see the movie Am I Racist? Okay. Do you know about this movie, John?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I didn't know where it was showing. I want to hear more about this.
The Matt Walsh movie. So I had to go to Washmo yesterday to do some transmitter work. So I'm coming back from Washmo, and and I stopped for gas, and I thought to myself, you know what? I got a little time to kill tonight, and quite honestly, I'm still getting over whatever my stupid illness has been because I'm not 100% yet. And I thought to myself, it'd be sort of nice to just sit in a chair for a couple hours and watch a movie. So 4 o'clock, DePere Cine, there I was. Okay, so I'm watching this movie, the Matt Walsh movie, Am I Racist? Okay, my first impressions. Okay, first off, it's sort of clunky. I mean, once again, it's like what's the term for this? It's like there's a term for this. It's like documentary, but it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek, ha-ha, funny documentary.
Like a mockumentary?
Yeah, sort of a mockumentary, okay? But what's so funny about this is, and we only got a couple more minutes. I should tell you more about this because I have someone that I know. This is their job, okay? They are a DEI person, and this is what they do. I won't give it what industry they're in or anything like that because somebody might be able to figure out who am I talking about, okay? But I texted this person, and they were like, you saw that? And we went sort of back and forth. The funny part of this is I don't know how he did this. Well, I know how he did it, but I think it would be interesting to figure out how he structured this. He takes on this persona where he puts on a wig. Have you seen this? Where he makes himself look like a hipster. He has like this ponytail with long hair hanging down, and he has these aviator style glasses, and he wears skinny jeans and like Reeboks with no socks and stuff like that. And he does these interviews with people who are real people. Who are like all these DEI queens, and the one of them is this lady by the name of Robin DiAngelo, and this is incredibly funny because of the fact that, and what's interesting is they put on the screen when they interview these people charge them to do the interview. So in other words, you want to talk to Robin DiAngelo? Cost you $15,000. So
that's a pretty good deal.
They pay the $15,000. She comes in and she thinks she's doing some kind of an interview for a show. And the funny part of it is when he takes on this persona, I can't remember what his name was. He called himself something else. He gets himself booked on all these TV shows, like Show Me St. Louis and things like that. He's on this TV show with these women from Utah. It's called like Good Morning Utah or Wake Up Utah. And normally it has 3 women. And this morning there are only 2 of them. And he's on the set of this TV show and he's showing them these exercises to eliminate white from what do you call it? White
privilege.
White privilege from your body. And he's doing these things
that's terrific.
Where you hold out your hands like, where your arms are parallel to the ground, and slowly you raise your hands up to over your head and you grasp your hands and you do something with your hands and the white supremacy goes out of your body. And I'm going like, oh my God.
Hey, we should explore this more tomorrow, Brad.
I'm going like, holy cow, didn't nobody pick up on? And the crazy thing about it is, this is Matt Walsh, and this is what's sort of funny. If you're into conservative, the conservative, you know exactly who this guy is. If you're like Mr. or Mrs. or Ms. or whatever you are, non-conservative, you're liberal, you have no idea who this guy is. You know what I mean?
I know. Hey, if you need me to, Brad, I can call back in. I need to go at 8. If you need me to call in from the car.
No, we're done.
I can do that, but I gotta go.
John, say goodbye.
All right, bye, guys.
Thanks for checking out the Brad and John Show podcast. This segment of the show is brought to you by John Combest's book, Stalking, Harassment, Internet Trolling, A Guide to Recovering and Rebuilding After Online Attacks. It's a great reference if you've ever been the unfortunate target of a social media attack. It's available on Amazon. Just search John Combest. That's Combest, John Combest, and the book will show up in your search results. Now it's time for another segment of the Brad and John Show. Can you handle it?